Sorry about that, folks. Apparently my camera decided to cut itself off after about 11 minutes. I didn't realize that. I apologize. So this is going to end up being a multi-part reading. So without further ado, let's jump back into Pokemon Lost Silver. I checked the trainer profile of Gold again, only to realize that the sprite of Gold was missing his arms. He also seems to appear less smug, but rather seems more sad and empty in a way that I do not know how to describe. For some reason, it also now said he has 24 badges, which was clearly impossible. After a few minutes of aimless wandering, my character suddenly spun, and so did the escape rope animation. Instead of flying up, though, my character spun downwards slowly, as if sinking. After that scream, the music stopped. After finally landing, the overworld sprite of Gold is colored differently now. Instead of the usual red color he dons, he appears completely white now, including his skin. It's as if he came straight from the colorless Game Boy games, placed into a colored background of the Game Boy Color. I checked his profile, and now he is as white as his overworld sprite. He lost his legs and has what appears to be bloody tears from his eyes. It also says he now has 32 badges, which now starts to disturb me, as this change of number seems to represent something important. I also checked my Pokemon, which this time contains 5 unknowns and a level 100 Celebi without a nickname. The unknown are this time level 15 and spelled out dying. I checked the Celebi's profile. It was a shiny Celebi, except there's only half of the sprite. 1 leg, 1 arm, 1 eye. It only has 1 attack. Perish Song. The area I was in itself was the Sprout Tower with the immobile pillar as before. Except everything is apparently red now. I walked north for what felt like forever. Eventually, I finally encountered some generic men and women NPC. They were all lined up to the side, just facing facing the long slantish pillar in the middle. They were also white, and nothing happens when I try to speak to them. I kept going north until eventually the pillar finally appears to be chopped off with a transparent red in that spot. I went up to red, and without even pressing A, I was suddenly engaged and finally in a battle. The music starts again, which it sounds like the unknown radio music, but played backwards. Gold's battle back sprite matches his front with the bloody eyes, white skin, and lack of arms, while Red sprite was the same as before in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, except transparent. The text simply read, the text simply said, "Wants to battle," as if he has no name. And both of us only have 1 Pokemon each, which is weird, as I swore I had 6 with all the unknowns. My shiny Celebi came out conveniently with a half a sprite for the back sprite also. The shiny noise and animation was different. The sound it made sounded like multiple screech attacks consecutively. Red sent out a seemingly normal male Pikachu, except he is level 255. And his sprite seems sad and has tears in his eyes. Rather than the usual fight item Pokemon Run menu, I was only given the option to use the attacks. Since Celebi only has one, I chose it. Naturally, since Pikachu was level 255, he went first. Pikachu used Curse, lowering his speed and increasing his other stats. I'm not even sure if Pikachu could use Curse. Celebi used Perish Song. In 3 turns, both Pokemon can get KO'd. Not like I have a choice. At this point, I didn't even get back to the fight menu as the battle just continued without me. Also note that there were no animations at all for some reason. Pikachu used Flail, which didn't do much damage despite his level and boost as his health was maxed. Celebi used Perish Song. Nothing happens as it was already used. Pikachu used Frustration, which did a ton of damage, knocking Celebi down to less than 10 HP. Celebi used Pain Split, which surprised me as Celebi didn't have that attack in the first place. Now Celebi and Pikachu have about 150 HP. Pikachu used Mean Look. Not like that did anything. As expected, due to the effects of Perish Song, my Celebi fainted, except in the text it said, Celebi has died. And instead of the ordinary drop screen animation, my Celebi back sprite just vanished. For some reason, Pikachu was still up even with the Perish Song, and it didn't count as my loss. Pikachu used one more different attack beyond the 5 attack limit. Pikachu used Destiny Bond. Afterwards it said Pikachu has died, with a slow fade out animation. Apparently, I was the winner, as the transparent red sprite just showed up and said, at that point, I just freaked out as that transparent red sprite was suddenly beheaded, leaving nothing but his transparent body. The battle then ended at that point and faded out along with the music. I'm back in the overworld with another change to Gold Sprite. He's now as transparent as Red's overworld sprite. I quickly checked Gold's profile, where this time the only thing that remains of him is his head, with transparent skin. The head was zoomed in a bit, showing a black void in his eyes. It now stated that he had 40 badges. I then backed out and checked my Pokemon. They were all level 20, Shiny Unknown, which went and spelled out red, no more. I was at what I now know is next to the end. There was apparently no music playing, but for some reason I still felt like there was something that could be heard. I was back in my room in New Bark Town. Maybe finally I get to play this game properly, but who am I kidding? I knew that sadistic must have done something. I walked around my room to interact with things, as I'm a bit afraid to go downstairs to see what was waiting down there. Note, I said walked around as while the background was moving, Gold was not moving his transparent limbs at all while doing so, just floating like those ghosts you see in Diamond and Pearl. As expected, the radio, computer, and TV did not work, so I had no choice but to go down the stairs. I ended up in the same lower level room of my house. Everything appears normal, except Mom isn't home. After failing to interact with anything in this room, I decided to go outside. To my surprise, the